Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has the craziest cast ever assembled. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, and so many more. So this is part 2 as promised. All the characters, heroes, monsters, gods you need to know before watching The Odyssey to enhance your movie experience, of course. Some characters may not be visible in the movie, but they would be mentioned because these characters I have read the book and I know them from the books. So there is a possibility, but these are important characters. Without them, this story does not proceed. So you need to know them so that you understand the references if they are made in the movie, right? So let's begin. Let's start with our hero character, Odysseus, king of Ithaca. He is a clever man, a master strategist. He is a war hero. He is the man responsible for the idea of the Trojan horse. What makes him different from the other heroes like Achilles? Well, Achilles wins wars with muscles. Odysseus wins wars with his brain. He's witty, he's manipulative, he's curious, and sometimes arrogant. And that arrogance lands him in a lot of trouble. The next character we discuss is the better half of Odysseus, Penelope. And no, she's not just a wife waiting at home. She is the smartest person in Ithaca. For 20 years, everyone has believed Odysseus to be dead. For 20 years, there were more than 100 suitors who want to marry her and become king. And she has delayed every one of them with her smartness. Every day she used to weave the funeral cloth, and every night secretly she'll unravel it. And that's how she puts them at bay for 20 long years. So Odysseus, if he is the man who survives through brain and intelligence, Penelope survives through sheer patience. Without delay, let's move on to Telemachus. Telemachus, Odysseus' son. The saddest part is that he does not remember his father because he was just a baby when Odysseus left for the Trojan War. Now, it's been 20 years. He has grown up surrounded with people who want to usurp him and take his kingdom. One of the biggest part of Odyssey is his own journey. He takes this journey to find out what has happened to his father. Think of him as the emotional heart of the story. One anti-character we have to discuss who is present in Ithaca and poses the most danger to Telemachus and Penelope. He was one of the most important suitors of Penelope. He is manipulative, he is wicked, he is the one who betrayed Sinon. Now Sinon was a very important character in the Trojan War. He was the one who was left behind and who manipulated the Troys that the Greeks have left, and this horse is actually a peace offering, which it was not, obviously. So Sinon is a very important character in the Trojan War. We'll discuss him in that segment. Back to Antinous. Antinous is like, you can describe him like everything that is wrong with Ithaca, it's Antinous. He has conspired to capture everything that Odysseus owns. He has conspired to kill Telemachus. A few of the gods we have to discuss. First one is Athena. Now, every hero wants some divine power, some divine intervention in their corner. Athena is that for Odysseus. She's the goddess of wisdom, strategy, war, craftsmanship. She acknowledges warfare but not reckless violence. That is one of the reasons why Athena adores Odysseus, because he is one of the heroes who thinks before swinging his sword. She doesn't fight his battles. She just merely nudges him in the right direction, disguises him, saves him, sometimes protects him from making terrible decisions. And of course, she advises him and Odysseus listens. Every story needs a villain, and a good villain makes a great story. And Odyssey's biggest villain isn't a human. He's a god himself, god of sea, Poseidon. Poseidon spent years making Odysseus' journey a living hell. He cursed Odysseus that all his men will die. He will not reach home for next 10 more years. There was a reason. He was angry about his son, Cyclops. Now, Cyclops we are discussing in a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. And not just his son, Poseidon is proud, he's vengeful. So every shipwreck, every storm, everything feels personal because Poseidon makes the sea his own weapon. One god we have to discuss is god of gods, that is Zeus. Surprisingly, he stays we cannot say neutral, but he just sits back and enjoys everything, sees everything unfold in front of him. And basically, he's meant to create a balance between the gods and the mortals. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So every conflict between Athena and Poseidon, Zeus actually should be the authority to settle that down. There is another god, Hades, the god of underworld. Now, he is basically a god of dead. I don't think he will appear in the movie because we do not see him in the book. We do not talk about him in the Odyssey by Homer. But I think he would be mentioned because there is a witch named Zeus who recommends Odysseus to visit the underworld and meet a prophet. Now, if you're done with that, let's talk about few sorceresses, nymphs, sirens, the monsters. Let's start with Zeus herself, as we have already mentioned her here. So she is a sorceress, she is a demigoddess, she is the daughter of Helios, the sun god. Now she has been exiled on this island called Aiaia. She is wicked, but she is sweet. I know too much about her because I have already read the book Zeus by Madeline Miller and it is amazing. I totally recommend everyone to read that book, and I know too much. I don't know how big this character is in the movie, but I know too much about her. When we meet Zeus, things get interesting because she has this tendency of turning men into pigs. Yes, actual pigs. So when Odysseus' crew lands on the island, she offers them food and they just misbehave with her and she turns them into pigs like that. Odysseus is actually immune to that charm and magic because of a demigod again, Hermes, who gives him a herb which protects him from Zeus's magic. I don't know how important that is, but I think it's important. Why leave Odysseus and turn everybody else into pigs, right? That's your answer there. She cannot be considered as a villain. She is more complicated than that. Odysseus actually lives with her for an entire year and they have a son together as well. Okay, now let's move on to a few monsters. Let's start with Cyclops. I think probably the most famous monster of Greek mythology is Cyclops. He is a giant with one eye. He's a son of Poseidon, and Odysseus beats him with, I think, one of the best and cleverest tricks in the literature. I am not going to reveal the trick here because it's really funny and clever, and you know why Odysseus is called a hero of wit. And Cyclops is that son because of whom Poseidon gets angry and curses Odysseus. Next are the sirens. Now they live on this island. If you cross that island, they do not attack the ship. They just sing. And their voice is so beautiful that sailors themselves cannot stop them. And they jump off the deck towards their death. So Odysseus, being proud and arrogant as well, he wanted to be the one who survived the sirens. So there is this epic scene. I am sure it's in the movie because I have seen a clip of him tied to the mast. We have to talk about one nymph known as Calypso. I hope I am pronouncing the name correctly. So she lives on an island where there is no suffering, there is no death, there's this prosperity, and she offers everything to Odysseus and she falls in love with Odysseus. And you know what? Odysseus spends 7 years on that island. 7 years. But ultimately he has been longing his family, he has longing his son and his wife. So Calypso lets him go, but 7 years he spends with her. There are many more monsters. I don't know how many of them are covered in the movie, but a few of them I have heard in the interviews here and there. We have to talk about Scylla. Now Scylla is this 6-head serpent monster. Imagine this. On this edge there is this island on which this 6 huge head serpent monster is there, and right here is a whirlpool. Now this whirlpool has a name, I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not doing so. So you have to cross this. Now this monster is here, this whirlpool is here, and how they cross it, because you go this side, you drown, you go this side, you get eaten up. But yes, Odysseus had to sacrifice something for something. Yeah, that happens. Now there are few characters, I think they should be mentioned here, so I am mentioning them very briefly. If you have seen the second poster of Odyssey, not this one, the other one with the black helmet one, he is called Agamemnon, if I'm not wrong. So if Odysseus is the mastermind, then Agamemnon is the commander. He's a king and he's a leader of the entire Greek army of the Trojan War. He is proud, he's powerful, and sometimes he's the worst enemy for himself. His wife has betrayed him. There is a storyline there because he's the one who has returned home, and Telemachus visits him to find about his father. So that's interesting to see. Last 2 characters, important characters I want to mention before ending this video is the Helen of Troy. She is considered to be the most beautiful woman ever, and she is blamed for the Trojan War, of course, because why not blame the woman? There are 2 variations. One says she was abducted by the Prince of Troy. The other says she left willingly with the Prince of Troy. We don't know which to believe. The Trojan War actually happened for her. She was abducted by the Troys, and the Greeks led this war to their shores. Now, the second character I wanted to mention was Paris, the Prince of Troy, who apparently abducted Helen. Well, his one missed decision had led to this legendary decade-long war. Now you know all the major players before going into Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and I am super excited that you will not go with a blank slate. The very best part about all these characters is that they are not just there for a spectacle like, wow, that monster, oh my god, that witch. No. Every character represents an idea: temptation, pride, vengeance, loyalty, revenge, and wisdom. So that is why the story has survived for 3,000 years. I will be back with a review video very soon because I am super excited. I am watching this movie this Friday, and I will be back with the review very soon. I hope you also go watch in the theaters and enjoy the movie. Please let me know in the comments below if you want another video on the Trojan War explained, or any Greek mythology explained a little more. Maybe if you love books, you love stories, you love history, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you stay tuned for many more to come. I will see you soon. Happy reading.